Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. Our guest on the program today is Dr. Joe Gallenberger. He's a clinical psychologist with 30 years of experience. His students often achieve dramatic physical and psychological healing, influence over dice and slot machines, and beautiful manifestations in their lives. He's a senior trainer at the Monroe Institute, created its highly successful MC Squared program. Dr. Gallenberger developed SyncCreation, a home study course in manifestation. He's the author of the book Brothers Forever and the CD's Partners and Manifesting with Hemi Sync, and author of the new book we'll talk about on the show today, Inner Vegas, Creating Miracles, Abundance, and Health. Dr. Gallenberger, welcome to the program. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Rick. How are you doing today?
I am doing fine and looking forward to talking about Inner Vegas, and it's a fascinating book, fascinating concept, and this basically, what in a nutshell is a 20-year experiment, basically a journey that you've been on.
Yes, it has. It started up at a place called Monroe Institute, went through university labs where I studied psychokinesis, the ability to affect matter with your energy, things like bending metal and plastic, growing seeds in your hand in a couple minutes, and then went out to the casinos of Vegas to learn how to get a black belt in karate there, if you will, in PK instead of karate, and find that that same energy can affect dice and slot machines, and seems to, when you get to know how to do this, help you manifest what you'd like in your life as well.
You know, it's interesting because boiling it down, basically, it's the ability that you talk about to create our own reality. And if somebody is listening and going, well, this whole Vegas thing, that's nice, but I'm not a gambler. You point out in the book, Inner Vegas, yes, you are. Basically, if you get up in the morning, you're a gambler.
That's true. Many people say, oh, Joe, I don't gamble. But to me, if you got married, had kids, you're a high roller, because we're always taking a risk in life and then having to live with the consequences. So it's better to learn how to do that and intelligently with the right energy so you can help influence the outcome in a positive direction.
This interest on your part with creating your own reality, manifestation, goes back to what you basically were 7 years old and things were happening to you at that time. Talk a little bit about that. It's so important to understand your background.
At that time, began to have experiences I would call of oneness, being a point of consciousness at one with everything, and it was an ecstasy state. I was raised Catholic, so I began to read the Christian mystic literature to try to understand it. Later on, studied philosophy, psychology, and meditation. And again, at the Monroe Institute, found a place where they have a technology you could get into states of consciousness and explore this more and more easily without having to go to an ashram for 20 years to learn the discipline to do it. So that's how things started, seeing that there is indeed a spiritual energy, and then began to see later in adult life how that might affect our time-space reality here.
Now, it's interesting. The book is called Inner Vegas, Creating Miracles, Abundance, and Health. Our guest on This Week in America is Dr. Joseph Gallenberger. His website is innervegas.com. Information available at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. You mentioned that once you develop this, you sort of your own real life lab has been the casinos in Las Vegas. Let's talk about some of the success that you've had. You've got a great story where you talk about a video poker machine. Basically, you've gone out there and been able to do things and witness things with your students that really defy the odds.
They do. We've had someone guess 6 numbers in a row in roulette, which is 1.6 billion to 1 by chance. The episode you're referring to, one of the things I learned quite quickly is there were a lot of dragons to fight out there. Mainly, it's one dragon with many heads. The dragon, you could call it fear. So it might come up as self-consciousness or anxiety or many different ways, but it all boils down to fear. And we found the greatest way to melt that and get it out of the way was to move into a very high love energy. So I've been training one day. I've done 70 Vegas adventure workshops at this point, and I've been training one day, a long day there with the group. And that night I just wanted to go out and rest by myself. So I found a way back part of the casino and kind of hid there. And my goal was to get a royal flush in hearts, ace, king, queen, jack, 10, which is 160,000 to one by chance. And just as I was putting my money in, the group members found me. And I had that split second. I could have said, please leave me alone, or sure, sit down, but not mean it. But instead, I opened my heart full wide, invited them to join me, told them what we were doing. And then the third pull, I got my royal flush in hearts, which was nice. I think it paid around 4,300 bucks on a $5 bet, which isn't bad. And again, proof of that energy that it can have an effect.
I talked about manifestation in the beginning. Let's just define a few of these terms and then we'll sort of walk through the process with the people that you've taken. You mentioned over 70 groups that have gone, adventure groups who have gone to Las Vegas, many of
Mhm.
them reporting some really amazing things that developed in their life after this. Manifestation, what's the basis of that, the genesis? Talk about the
Well, we
definition.
define that as creating your physical reality, and the theory would be we manifest all the time, usually weekly, because we have mixed motives and we don't focus on it and concentrate on it much. Sometimes we manifest something negative. But in the way we're using the word, it would be this skill set to learn how to create a very positive reality for yourself, body, mind, and spirit. So that could be manifesting a royal flush and hearts, but also the ideal job in you for you in the universe, soulmates, good health, many things. So when people go out and we raise very high energy and we get rid of the fears and we focus the energy, we've had folks do things like wake up the second morning of the workshop free from polio pain that they had been having for 20 years, and lots of physical healing, emotional, psychological kinds of things. And then manifest things in their life, art commissions if they're an artist, a great job if they would like that, inventions, many different things.
And enter Vegas, and I guess Vegas is a great lab. It's a great place to go. You can show results. You're there. They're teachable moments with the people who were in the workshop. But everything you
Yes,
do there,
definitely, Rick. One of the reasons we use Vegas, we know that the dice and slot machines will be neutral, and we know the statistics, so we're not fooling ourselves about what's happening. But the other big reason is the feedback out there is so quick. If we're sitting at a dice table or standing, and we're in a wide open heart energy, feeling one with everything, feeling grounded to the earth, feeling grateful, heart open, we get rewarded with money within seconds. If we go into greed, fear, or ego, we get punished by withdrawal of money. And so it's a training, almost like you train a dog to sit by giving them to reward yourself for a more enlightened way of living. So after a couple of days of that rapid feedback and progress, people go home with a new feel of this whole thing. And the book Inner Vegas talks about that journey for many people besides myself, and how they met their dragons of fear, how they focused energy, what they found worked well for them.
what's interesting is it's not. And if you pick up the book and you think, okay, I'm going to go to Vegas, I'm going to beat Vegas, I'm going to come back with a couple $1 million in the bank, and they're going to bar me, and I can't ever go back again because I'm such a big winner. You talk about
Yes,
small amounts of money, but as I'm reading the results with the people who go and yourself, money's sort of secondary to the whole concept and skills that they're able to transfer to other areas of their lives where they really pays big dividends.
definitely. The money, and we often bet very small amounts, a dollar or $5. The money makes people pay attention better, but the money's not the point out there. We're not out to kill them. And in fact, it's a training environment. So the first day, people are trying to learn how to hold these very high meditative energies and at the same time learn a brand new game. And so we may, what we call, plant a few seeds. Then by second day, we begin to break even or win a little bit, and people can see the progress in that. And the value, usually your net worth is fluctuating more at home because of the stock market and realty market than you'd ever even be risking in Vegas during the workshop. But when you get home, you can apply these things for much greater impact on your finances or on your health or on your career or on your relationships.
You
And
talk about
that's what's of great value.
Yeah, you talk about it in the book, and the book is Inner Vegas, Creating Miracles, Abundance, and Health. Dr. Joseph Gallenberger, our guest on the program. His website is innervegas.com. Link onto our website, thisweekinamerica.us, to get more information. You talk about applying energy of the heart to create health and good fortune. Creating energy of the heart. Talk about that. For many people, that's
Okay.
sort of a concept that they've never heard of before and wouldn't know how to even go about starting.
Sure. So we, in current theory, often might be living mostly in our left brain hemisphere, the place where it's past and future oriented, and it's a place of our ego. The technologies we use for meditation, called hemisync, help balance the brain state. So we use more of our right brain, which is more of a here and now present reality, soften the ego, which then allows the wisdom and intuition and energy of the heart to come out. That's basically the energy of love. And when that does, things move to a much more powerful state. We mentioned the dragons of fear. I used to meet fear with courage. Now I found it's easier to just melt fear with feeling loving. When we do that, we feel connected with other people, with our spirit, and with the realities we're trying to work with. And you can move into energy of the heart quite simply. Often, just putting your hand over your heart will bring your consciousness out of your head and into your heart. There are biofeedback machines, one by HeartMath called EM Wave, where you watch a picture on the screen and it turns from black and white to color as you move into more and more coherent heart energy, measured by a little monitor on your finger that's actually taking your EKG. If you watch a little movie of puppies being born or soldiers returning home from war and meeting their families, most people's hearts would naturally open. Uh, the thing we find is it'll only stay open a short while unless you do some connecting with energies we're calling grounding, meaning being here now in the present moment and really connected to both the earth and the heavens, because our natural state as human beings is to be that X point between heaven and earth.
The concepts you talk about in the book are all grounded in science, and you make that case in the book Inner Vegas. Let's talk
Yes,
about that, because there's still some reluctance on the part of some mainstream scientists to acknowledge what you're doing. On the other
sure.
hand, it is grounded in science. There is a basis for it. Talk about where we stand with that and getting some broader acceptance in the scientific community.
Well, there's been decades of study now on this area called psychokinesis, and the results are in the billions and trillions to one by chance when they look at meta studies, meaning studies that combine lots of studies together. There is a group of who call themselves skeptics, but they're really debunkers. They refuse to look at the data, they refuse to do their own experiments, but they do have the ear of politicians and the press. There's a really good book, Science and Psychic Phenomena, The Fall of the House of Skeptics by Chris Carter, who talks about the politics behind this. But the data is getting so strong that that wall of, quote, skepticism is falling. And I think in the next 10 years, we will see greater acceptance. Not only the data that there is results, but we're beginning to measure what might be going on when people, quote, send this energy. So I'm working with a major university right now. We're in pilot studies, so I'm not free to release the name of the university. But as we do these energy healing sessions, bending metal, rolling dice and patterns, they have machines that are beginning to jump and detecting some kind of energy. And we know they're shielded away from anything common like electromagnetic interference and things like that. So I'd say within 10 years, we should even be able to measure a little bit this energy that hasn't been measured before.
The book is called Inner Vegas, Creating Miracles, Abundance, and Health. Our guest on the program, the author, Dr. Joseph Gallenberger. The website is innervegas.com. Information at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Rapidly running out of time. A couple of minutes left, and
Okay.
you've mentioned fear several times there, and you talk in the book about fear really gives the enemy power. How do we
Yes.
get around fear? And for many of us, is it sort of a subconscious thing? It's sort of there and holding us back, and we're really not even aware of it.
Yes, we can. It can be out of our awareness. Again, we're using that to mean, you're going to do something like go into a casino. Most people might have a fear of loss, taking a chance in business, asking a person out that might be a partner for you. We don't. We have a natural fear of change and risk. We look at risk as good. It's how we learn and we grow. Without risk, there would be no iPod and iPad and this radio show or many things. Risk is part of life, but risk involves some fear. So we're looking at the technologies of meditation to really calm down, and then again to open the heart. We're also looking at things from an intellectual point of view. When I walk in a casino, I might say, well, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? And I know I have a stop loss. If that's $50, then I don't have to act like I could lose my life. I only could lose $50. I have a saying on my wall in my office that I developed and somebody put on a sign for me. Fear is expensive, love is priceless, choose wisely. I look at that a lot because it can be easy to slip into states of anxiety, and when we do that, we lose our power.
It's interesting as you read the book Inner Vegas, and you talk a lot about the people who are in the class, the people who go with you to Vegas,
Yeah.
the people you've dealt with over the years. And again, I think I mentioned this in the beginning. It's not just, monetary, they're able to pick up a few bucks. It's the fact that they've gone back and experienced abundance in all phases of their lives. And for many of these people, and many of them took the time to do the survey and the follow-up work, this really has been a life-altering experience for them, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been very satisfying to watch that. I get letters every day from around the world. I have a new CD out called Liquid Luck, where I tried to collapse all of this into a 30-minute meditation, 37-minute meditation. And the stories just keep rolling in where people, even listening one time, it's designed to slip under the fears. People are winning little lotteries or getting money coming unexpectedly or finding a four-leaf clover after looking for it for 70 years. All kinds of manifestations, if you will. And it's really exciting because I think, it's important for us to know now that we're miracle workers because the planet is at a tipping point on many things in society and environmentally. And we need to get our energies together as groups, think positively and create the kind of positive future we want for our kids and grandkids and hopefully for ourselves.
And you sum up those people calling them ordinary people who allowed themselves to do extraordinary things. And that
Sure.
that really sums it up. We're out of time, but we'll have Dr. Gallenberger back in the program. So many more interesting things to talk about. His book is Inner Vegas, Creating Miracles, Abundance, and Health. It's available everywhere across the country. Information you can order at his website, innervegas.com. And, of course, information at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Dr. Gallenberger, thank you for joining us on the program. Look forward to having you back.
It was my great pleasure, Rick, and I wish everybody a great day.
You're listening to This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us.